Hey explorers, this episode was brought to you by Anchor.fm. It's the distribution service that we use to get this podcast to you. And to be honest, it's great. It's free. There's tons of creation tools that let you edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They upload it to everything, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and tons of others. You can even make money with no minimum listenership. So it's got everything you need in just one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Yar, fiddly-dee. Being a pirate is all I can be.
Oh yeah,
Yar,
we gotta do
fiddly-dee.
the sea shanties because that's trending and we need to trend.
Shit. Running down a Cuba with a load of sugar. You gotta say words sometimes, otherwise people just think you're not saying anything. Welcome back to me tavern.
Yeah.
Arr.
We're pirates now.
It's a pirate tavern.
It's a pirate episode.
Welcome back to the short rest. Here we be telling ye our 10 favorite things.
Yeah. We've always had this voice. You've listened incorrectly.
This is canon now. Arr.
So, this is a little short rest episode between our classes.
Yeah, sorry for shouting at you on your short rest. I know you don't have a lot of time.
It's a rowdy pub. I don't know if you can hear the other revelers, but part of the course. So, we have each chosen 5 things that we think are swell, neat, bang tidy, one might say. And we're going to present each of them to you with just a minute or so, each item. We're going to go through them, maybe open up your mind.
Yeah, because it's kind of a big thing whenever you're, like, making a new character, and, okay, you've got, like, your feats, you've figured out the table that tells you all the crap that has what to do with your class, and now you have to choose from a list of hundreds of items. What is your starting equipment? A lot of times you just get a pack or whatever, but we're here to enlighten you into some...
Add a little bit more. So, JT, do you want to go first?
Yeah.
These are in no particular order, I should say, by the way.
alphabetic.
Yeah. These are just things that we done liked.
Yeah. So, my choice for number 1 is ball bearings. Yeah. Oh, why ball bearings, you might ask? Because it's hilarious. In a Looney Tunes cartoon-esque way, I want this to work at one point. Haven't yet. But there is a universe out there where this has, and it's great.
What are the rules for it?
So ball bearings, they're just like little metal balls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like tiny metal balls. And I think you can do a lot with these little bad boys. I mean, explicitly, you can make someone have a hilarious banana peel slip, right? If you throw it into like a little room. Like, this is kind of a cool way to get out of a fight or have an advantage over a group of enemies who are coming at you.
Yeah.
Or just have a really funny situation.
Precisely.
But maybe you also have to move a really big heavy thing. You could do like, like an Egyptian's wet the sand type of thing, right? Where you just throw a bunch of ball bearings down and you can like glide the big heavy thing on top.
It's pretty cool.
Right?
It's a good thing.
Or maybe you have something that can shoot projectiles and you don't have like a ton of... throw some ball bearings into it. Now you have you have kind of like a shotgun thing.
Yeah, it's versatile. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you can make a shrapnel bomb out of ball
Gunpowder and ball bearings.
Gunpowder.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, that's a good one. I'll give you that.
It's the best one.
My pick for the first one is Alchemists Fire.
So what is
Because
Alchemist Fire? And how is it different from regular fire?
It's a sticky, adhesive fluid that ignites when exposed to air.
So like napalm, but
It's napalm,
worse.
but it ignites itself. So there's kind of 2 ways. First of all, it's sticky.
Yeah.
So you can stick it to the underside of things. You can light a fire anywhere. And also, it ignites when it's exposed to air.
Yeah.
So if you're in the middle of the Arctic, if you're in your snow campaign and you're
You don't have to
huddling
worry
for
about
warmth,
lighting it.
yeah, If you can't light the fire because your DM's being like, make a survival check to light fire, throw some Alchemist Fire on your shit wood, baby.
Yeah, as long as your campaign isn't taking place in space. It sounds like
Even then, you could breathe on it, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't say it needs a fire to keep going, just to ignite it, right?
And it's self-sustaining.
It's an improvised weapon. It does 1d4 fire damage each turn, and someone can extinguish the flames by making a DC 10 dexterity check. But its real usefulness comes from having instant fire anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like the stickiness part of it and not having to worry about lighting it makes it pretty useful.
Yeah, you can use this to cut ropes, like far away. You can dip like arrows in it.
Yeah.
There's so many things where you could, if you kind of tune your mind to it.
Work with this?
Keep it in a bucket.
Exposed to air.
Keep it in a bucket. Bucket of water. It's like surströmming, which, there you go. That's a reference you can look up. So,
and you never will.
No, JT, what is your second one?
Alright, my second one's a little bit more straightforward. Crowbar. Crowbar is pretty obviously useful in how you can use it. There are very many circumstances where you need to open something or get purchase on something or move something that's a little bit too heavy or awkward or a door jam or something like that.
Yeah.
Crowbars are pretty great for that kind of stuff.
If you're playing with a kind of a strict DM, then they might not let you use your weapons to pry open some things, because in the real world you'd just bend your sword. So having a crowbar, having that backup
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and we've also had situations where there's a lot of potential for just having a solid block of iron can be useful.
Yeah.
We've had situations where...
Especially one that you don't care about. One that you can leave places.
Yeah, you just buy another one. This thing's... I don't know how much it costs because it doesn't say, but it's can't be that much. 2 GP.
2 gold?
Actually, that's a little... Well, actually, everything's kind of expensive here. 2 GP. But yeah, better than a sword. And you can use it as we've used it as a handle that you can affix to a latch or door that doesn't have one, right? If
yes.
you can glue it on or something.
Together with, you can get some magic items to do that. You can shape stone around it.
Yeah, and you can use that in combination with a rope to make a kind of pulley system or something if you need to.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. My next one is a block and tackle. So a block and tackle is a set of pulleys with a cable threaded through them and a hook. It allows you to hoist up to 4 times the weight you can normally lift. Now, lifting things is always a problem. There will always be a time in any campaign where you need to lift things. 4 times your weight, add on the rest of your party pulling as well, you can hoist some heavy shit.
Yeah, you can get your way out of some sticky situations if you're actually dungeoning and some cave-in blocks a path or whatever. I mean, this could be a good way to methodically take away all of that crap.
Exactly. So if you have a strength score of 10, which is if you're not putting anything into your strength but the bare minimum.
Yeah, you are a regular person.
You can normally lift 30 times your strength score, 300 pounds. With the block and tackle, 4 times that, that's 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, that's
What's 1,200 pounds?
That's a Mazda Miata. That's a small car.
Times that, I mean, if you have 4 people in your party, times that by 4.
Yeah, and then you
5,000 pounds.
A couple of cars.
Yeah, it's dope, and there's no limit. There's no upper limit to the block and tackle. So have at it. JT, what's your next one?
So I chose lock because there's tons of stuff that you might want to keep shut. It's a big thing in D&D for shit to get stolen or
things to come through doors you don't want to come through.
Yeah, things to come through doors and it's reusable. So if you ever had a situation where it's oh, do you want to interrogate the bad guy but you're worried about some civilians coming in and seeing that you're doing something unsavory? Well, lock the door.
Yeah. You don't have to guard the door, especially if you're in a small party. It's basically doing the job of a barbarian.
Hold the door! Hold the door!
It's a whole barbarian in a single item.
Yeah, and like also maybe you're running away from some danger or something like that. Closing and locking a door behind you could also be a hilarious way to really thwart that from coming.
Yeah. So I chose for my third one the good, handy, trusty rope. You should always have rope. I cannot say this enough. You should always have rope. If you ever run out of rope, go buy rope. If you ever have less than 50 feet of rope on you, go buy rope.
Yeah,
Always buy rope.
Rope is a classic.
It's just so, I mean, whether hempen or silk, it has 2 hit points and can be burst with a DC 17 strength check. That's quite high for low levels.
Yeah.
Starting out, so you can bound people. There are more uses for rope than I will ever be able to say in 100 episodes.
Yeah, I mean,
it's-
it goes with your block and tackle.
Yeah, my big point is this whole section is just to make sure that you have rope. Buy rope, get rope. Go now. Go now, text your DM, say I want to buy rope in my downtime. Always have
The
rope.
prices are going up, and they're going forever. Rope, rope economy.
Get rope. That's all I've got to say. Get rope. You can use it for every-
Buy.
If you use mage hand, you can have a mage hand tie rope to something, and then you can pull it from across a cavern, from
Yeah.
a roof. It's applying force to something.
And then now you can have your cool
From a
rope
distance.
swing thing to get
It's
across that chasm or whatever.
So dope.
Yeah.
Rope. That's the tagline. You know, like, got milk? Rope. So dope.
Rope. It's rope.
JT, what's your third one?
Okay, my next
Fourth
one
one.
is oil.
Oil.
Yeah, oil's a good one. Oil, it's like, okay, going in the direction of ball bearings, it can also be a hilarious surface for somebody to slip on, right? By going the Alchemist Fire route, it's also a really great thing to have so that you can, like, reliably light fires on stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's like delayed as well. You
Yeah,
can
so
lay
this-
the oil, then light it later.
Yeah, sometimes oil can be the fuse too, right? Like if you have trails of oil for something, like that could also be like a fuse. Like imagine you're going down dungeon delving or whatever, right? And for whatever reason, you have barrels of gunpowder. You roll those barrels of gunpowder down the stairwell, you know there's a bunch of bad guys down there. And then you can just pour a bunch of oil down there, and now you have your fuse down to your like explosive, and it's awesome. I've never done that before, but it sounds like awesome.
So, I mean, it's kind of like Alchemist Fire. Alchemist Fire has the bonus. It's cool that we both thought of those things. Alchemist Fire has the bonus of being able to light anywhere.
Yeah, so you don't need to think of the mechanism to light it.
Oil means you have the delayed lighting. You can be anywhere when you light it.
Yes, it maybe is a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have control over when you would light it and stuff like that.
All right, my next thing, bit of a left field one, is sealing wax. Now, sealing wax is good because
This is not sealing like the ceiling of your house.
like to seal a letter.
Yeah.
Anything sealed with wax looks more impressive. And therefore, as long as you have sealing wax, you can make anything look slightly more impressive than it previously was. You just put a seal on it. I don't know, use some twigs to make a little seal, something. Carve a little seal for yourself. You show that to a peasant, they're gonna be impressed.
So, okay, this might be convincing somebody to vacate their home because you need to use it because you're here on orders of the king.
Exactly.
So here's a letter.
It's the seal. Yeah, it's not from the king, but it's from the king's brother, maybe.
That you've never heard of.
But it's very official. I've got a seal. Sealing wax is super, super cool. You can also use it to seal doors closed if you're being attacked by a small army of gnats. That's
Make it nice and airtight.
I mean, actually, making things airtight is a genuine... You can use it to seal the end of bottles, flasks, anything that's going to go in water for a long time. So you can also seal, like, completely surround a small slip of paper in sealing wax to kind of conceal it, as if you've got a secret message on a little slip of paper. Dunk the whole thing in sealing wax. If you get searched or anything, they just find some sealing wax, baby. There's no letter in that.
So you use that to like obfuscate items and stuff.
So sealing wax, it's good. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's not to be underestimated.
Yeah, good uses for that.
What's your final one?
Manacles.
Manacles.
Yeah, because like this one could be replaced with rope, right? But my only pitch, so like manacles, I'll put that on the bottom of my list for a reason, right? Because like rope, obviously more important, and you can do most of the job that you would do with manacles with rope. But here's like the saving grace of manacles, I'll say, is that
They're
one
fireproof.
thing, they're fireproof. Well, I mean, hopefully, if you're binding a person, you're not worried about them catching fire. But who knows?
You can manacle a fire elemental. You can't rope a fire elemental.
There you go. Right, but manacles are quick in a way that rope cannot be. So, like, you can surprise somebody with manacles. You can manacle somebody. You might not even need to manacle like both their hands together. You can manacle one of their hands to a thing.
And then the other one to you. Then they have to fall in love with you.
Now you gotta be my friend. Because with rope, you can untie with if you had like a hand free or I don't know, a dexterous mouth or something.
Yeah, dexterous.
But like with manacles, you need the key, or you have to figure out a way to destroy the manacle, which is not easy.
Yeah, they're just more hardy in every way. But yeah, speed. It's definitely a thing. It's definitely important.
Yeah. Surprise.
All right.
You're coming with me.
Stop, criminal scum.
Yeah, so what's your last one?
My final one is the one and only, the almighty, the glorious, the unstoppable sack.
Yeah.
Now you may be thinking, sack, you can put things in it, cool. But there's something you can put in a sack that is infinitely friendly to your desires. You can sack a wizard. Because if you put a sack over the head of a wizard, they can't use any verbal spells. While they're trying to get the sack off their head, you manacle them, they can do no more semantic spells. You neuter a wizard with you mage hand a sack on the wizard's head, they're fucked.
Yeah, you do nothing and you're coming with me.
Almost every spell needs some kind of verbal. Like, the majority you need a verbal component. You are completely fucking over a wizard. And while he's spending his turn getting the sack off his head, he's not casting spells at you. It's just perfect. Sack a wizard. Always sack a wizard. You see a wizard? Get the sack. Always try that first. There's no alternative that is as good. And as cheap and as disposable.
The easiest way to neutralize a spellcaster.
Do you know how much a sack costs, JT? 1 gold piece. Fuck your crowbar for 2 GP. 1 copper piece. Did I say
sacks?
gold? Copper
Get
piece.
2 sacks for that.
It's a copper piece. You can get 200 sacks for the price of a crowbar. 200 wizards.
That's 200 wizards who will never see the light of day.
Exactly. Sack a wizard. It's perfect.
That's another tagline.
So that's our top 10 items for D&D, for what we think is some good early level things. Pick them up if you can, if you've got the money.
Yeah, those are all common items too. So that's what we didn't say this before, but like we chose items that are more or less available and pretty easy.
Yeah, you should be able to find all of these in any decent sized town, not even cities and stuff.
Yeah, maybe Alchemist Fire might be tough.
Yeah,
That's another thing, is that oil is a good alternative because it's so cheap.
that's true.
Alchemist Fire is a
Alchemist
price.
Fire is 50 gold, but you can sometimes convince your DM to give it to you in your starting equipment because it's in the adventuring gear page. Yeah, the only thing that's more expensive than that is
Spyglass?
poison and spyglass. Poison is 100, and then the spyglass is 1,000.
Yeah, because you're on black market prices with that
Yeah.
poison.
So the Alchemist Fire, again, if you can open it underwater, then you can just reseal it, baby, and you have a few uses. If you just need a drop or two to get a fire going, get a pipette.
Yeah.
Wait, do you know how they used to do old pipettes before you had plastic? Because pipettes are plastic.
Okay, so what's the...
You used to just have a glass tube and use your mouth. Don't use that with Alchemists Fire.
Okay, there's a little there's some disadvantage to this that I'm
Side note, quickly, I was talking to one of my old biology teachers years ago. His wife was a research for something. It was some horrible disease like TB or fucking, I don't know what awful thing it was. And they had to take like mixtures of these diseases and transfer them to petri dishes using mouth pipettes. So they, yeah, and sometimes apparently they would just accidentally swallow them and it would be fine and like not much would happen. Maybe you might get a bit sick, but apparently that was just a thing that happened.
Why? I feel like why would you use the mouth version? I mean,
because there was no other version. This is like in the 50s.
Surely there was something. Surely.
But yeah, you just use mouth pipette. If you have used a mouth pipette, we've got like 2 listeners who are over 60 according to our statistics. If you or someone you know has used a mouth pipette, email me, toby@rulesaswrittenshow.com. Let me know your...
Explain! America! Explain!
Alright.
This one is Kansas? Why is this not Arkansas?
So, ending on the high. That's it. We will see you guys next week, where we'll be returning to the classes.
The classic?
Classes. Classic classes.
Yeah.
Until then, goodbye.
See ya.